More and more people are speaking out against Neil Gaiman after the recent controversies. We have a pretty wild one today where Clarion West, which is a big writers' workshop, this is like the feeder for the industry. This is like their minor league acceptance program, really. So if you want to look at it like baseball, these are the people that they're looking to draft into their like single A on the way up. And it's a big workshop where you spend multiple weeks there in just complete immersion in writing. They give a lot of critiques. They try to better your writing and things like that. And Neil Gaiman's taught there, and he's advocated this a lot of times. Well, there's been, of course, a lot of allegations that there's been problems, that there was an unwritten Neil Gaiman rule not to sleep with the students. And, of course, that implies Neil Gaiman did sleep with the students. And Clarion West has finally spoken out about this and actually wrote a substantive post, which actually looks a little bad for the author yet again. It's been a bad week for Neil Gaiman. So to start and sum up this story to begin with, of course, Neil Gaiman's been accused of sexual assault from 5 different women now, and 2 of which were employees of his, one of which was a nanny who he invited to a tub to cuddle with her, and he says they just cuddled in the tub, which is weird. But she says it was pretty violent and scarred her. She eventually signed an NDA over the issue, of course. Very weird, too. The second one employee was a wife of a gardener of his New York property who said once her husband left her, he basically would force her to perform sex acts in order to stay in the residence with her 3 daughters, and she had no job and kind of was trapped there. Again, an NDA was signed, and we don't have any statement from Neil Gaiman on this stuff. The other thing was 2 young fans in their teens, when the author's pretty old, said that he manipulated them, and they were forced into weird situations with him as well. And yeah, a lot of weird stuff's coming out. This is one of the panels from one of his comic books, where this woman goes, "I loved your characterization of Eileen. There aren't enough strong women in fiction." And the guy goes, "Actually, I do tend to regard myself as a feminist writer," trying to pick up on this woman, right? And that seems to be his strategy. He seems to use his allyship, I hate that term, but whatever, in order to manipulate people in these situations. And it's been very, very gross so far. The other day on the channel, we pointed out that Amanda Palmer posted a weird cryptic message putting Lolita into a trash can in a picture. Lolita, of course, is a novel about grooming. And if that has to deal with Neil Gaiman, we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg of things that are going to get very, very dark very, very quickly here. But gosh, let's get into the Clarion West news in just a moment. Guys, my name is John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling science fiction author. And I would love for you to check out my wholesome work here, The Hidden Emperor, an Ayla Rin sci-fi graphic novel. We are building something different, building it away from the mainstream industry that promotes these people. And I would love for you to come check out this Kickstarter. We're already at $24,000, all due to the support of people like you, word of mouth of people like you sharing this project. So please share it around your social medias. We're in the middle of it. We need to get more momentum going. We want to hit that $25,000 mark because science fiction legend Blaine Pardo is joining us to do a short story in this at that level. And you're going to love this. It's just good classic heroism. Please check it out. It's in the description below. And thank you so much for all the tremendous support you guys have given so far. Hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here. And let's get into what Clarion West has said about this. So here's their new statement that they posted to their website called "Silence Does Not Lend Itself to Change." It's really funny to me. All these people are always, they're making these bleedings about silence and blah, 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 blah. They work overdrive to cancel people like me just because I, voted for Trump. I'm a vocal Christian. I've never bothered anybody at a convention, never bothered anybody and things like that. Yet they ban me. They blacklist me from publishing. You'd think that just my speaking out on YouTube about stuff like this, saying that it's, bad to sexually abuse women, is somehow more dangerous than somebody like Neil Gaiman, who gets applauded, who's been doing it. They're still just attacking me. In some cases harder than they are Neil Gaiman. It's very weird. It's like I'm just calling out the bad behavior here. I just want you guys to be better, right? Yes, I oppose sexual assault, and I oppose male feminists because male feminists are almost always in these positions where they're trying to manipulate somebody through their feminism, almost every single time. I've never seen it fail. So news of the allegations of Neil Gaiman began breaking this year's 6-week workshop hurtled into its third week. As we emerge from the workshop and have time to process this news, our board and staff want to take a moment to recognize that a culture of silence and protecting prominent authors has been widespread in the SFF community. Now, this looks like they're admitting that they knew there were bad things happening and they were all silent about it. Shame on you. Shame on you guys. Shame on all you people who just harassed me for years. I mean, gosh. And that is often disproportionately affects the most marginalized and vulnerable in our society. Oh, spare me. The silence at its impact is not acceptable. It's not. This is an important by the way, they said there was an unwritten rule at Clarion. This was known for decades that Neil Gaiman was like this. Decades. So now they're saying something because it's cool to say something. This is who these people are. I'm going to call out this entire industry like this. They don't care. They just care that it's a hot button issue right now. They want to make their statement for their own clout. This is across the board. These people are all sick, and they're all complicit, in my opinion. The Clarion West Board of Directors and our entire team are deeply invested in establishing a safe and harassment-free environment for those who participate in our programs. Well, now you are. How do we do this? We believe that personal behavior is as important as professional standing and endeavor to make selections for instructors based on what we know of their personal and professional comportment. Yeah, right. It's all the clout people. It's all their little male feminist allies that come in there and do this stuff. And I know every single time, guys. So you don't care. You really don't. The process for as an instructor selection allows for more concerns to be heard both during selection meetings and privately. This addresses concerns around instructor behavior. Clarion West has had a written instructor policy against harassment or sexual misconduct with students for at least 25 years. Neil Gaiman had a copy of this policy when he taught in 2013. That's 20 years ago. Organizers were not aware of accusations or inappropriate behavior by Gaiman prior to inviting him, nor were they made aware of any abusive behavior during his tenure. Now, this flies right in the face of a professional editor and writer who actually said that Clarion West has known about this and that they even called it the Gaiman rule not to sleep with the students. So who's lying here? Do you think that random editor is lying about Clarion West? Or is Clarion West just trying to cover up the fact that, again, they just covered for a guy because of his clout and political influence? They knew he was kind of bad. They downplayed it. And now they're trying to cover their own butts. That's what it seems like right here to me. In more recent years, the organization has created and posted our code of conduct and anti-harassment policy publicly. Yes, of course. Yes, these little empty gestures, or these code of conducts which are used to harass good people because of their politics, and used to protect bad people because of their politics. This has been the convention scene. It's been everywhere. It's been on a lot of different platforms. It never gets applied equally. These things are just always ominous and up to the discretion of the organization at the end of the day, always. They say they've made significant efforts to improve the process, which means there was again, this kind of implies there was a problem. But again, the organization seeks to create transparency around the workshop and all programs. Well, if that was true, then you should open up about what you actually knew about Neil Gaiman here, because it looks like you're covering yourselves, and yet you're saying you're making improvements, which means you knew there were problems going on. And this is happening across the industry. I'm seeing it all across the comic and publishing industry. This guy was covered for. Anybody who spoke out against him was actually shut down. They actually tried to sick rabid fans and tried to sweep it under the rug with the media for the longest time. And now there's just too much evidence that they can't, but they're still not taking culpability. They're still not admitting to the truth. They're still not really addressing the actual concerns. Was there a Gaiman rule, Clarion West? Was it real? Did it happen? Who knew about it? And what did they do? And why did it sit for 20 years? Now why are you trying to seek to create transparency 20 years later? This looks like a corporate statement with no teeth that is not going to be doing anything, and they're not going. Look, I'm gonna email them right now. I'm gonna do this report at clarionwest.org. I'm gonna ask them to clarify this, whether anybody knew about this, whether this Gaiman rule was a real thing that was said by this other author, or if they think that other author's lying. If it was known that Neil Gaiman slept with students there, or whether that's just a rumor, I'm going to ask, and I bet you they won't respond to me. Why? Because I'm a real journalist doing the real work in the industry that these people won't, that none of these people who are sycophants will, that are all aspiring to try to get dwindling spots in the industry. And that's part of the problem, right? Everybody who's aspiring to be a part of these clubs can't say anything about the clubs, can't say anything about anything else, because they don't want to risk getting kicked out before their careers even get off the ground. They didn't account for people out there who are independent, who are going to say what they want anyway, and to speak out anyway, and speak truth to power here anyway. And they don't like us. They don't like us because we tell the truth. All right. Whew. Sorry, this agitates me a lot because this is clearly a cover-up. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Yikes. Please check out the Hidden Emperor graphic novel on Kickstarter. Appreciate you guys for being there, and appreciate you for being so supportive of the truth. We'll be back soon.